Hi everyone, Bruce Robison here with a video message, actually my second video message of this week, especially now for the members and friends in the Congregation of All Saints Brighton Heights. And my regular weekly message introduces the collect and readings for this coming Sunday, July 26th. But this video is a separate announcement just having to do with our plans to return to church and to worshiping together in person at All Saints next Sunday morning, August 2nd. I prepared the first of my videos. Some of you will remember in anticipation, looking forward to Sunday morning, March 29th. That was the first Sunday that we did not have any service at All Saints. It was the fifth Sunday in Lent, Passion Sunday. And at that time, we all recall Governor Wolf had directed a mandatory stay-at-home order and what they called 15 days to flatten the curve. And I can tell you, it really wasn't my thought, that first weekly video, so I was putting that together, that it would be the first of what now have been 20 videos, almost half a year, dealing with the crisis of the coronavirus pandemic and working in this way to help us to some extent to stay in touch with the life of the church and the worship that we could have together. Now, of course, none of this is over, and we know that even this week with some unfortunate rising numbers of positive test results of illnesses and hospitalizations and deaths around the Commonwealth and around the country. All of us have made great adjustments and continue to make great adjustments in many parts of our lives. So we continue to seek to be safe ourselves and to promote safety within our wider community. And as always, we continue to pray for those who are affected by the virus, and especially now for those who are caring for the ill and for those who are working so diligently to find treatments and ultimately a vaccine that can, we hope, draw an end to all that has been going on. Much has been learned about the virus over these months, though, and through that learning, our public health leaders have been able to recommend certain kinds of precautions that allow the resumption of many of activities of life while maintaining what I suppose we can never call a safe environment, but maintaining a safer environment. In fact, it turns out these precautions, these safety precautions, are actually quite simple. Now, first of all, very importantly, to stay at home and to isolate yourself from others when you don't feel well or when you have been exposed and you know that you have been exposed to someone who is ill. It's the most important thing. And then what's important is even when we feel fine, it's important to maintain what is called social distance. Usually being defined as about 6 feet, and a little bit more if you can manage a little bit more, just to be careful to avoid close physical proximity with others from outside your household, and certainly to avoid large group gatherings when that distancing can't be maintained. And I know we've seen pictures of crowded restaurants and things happening out in the wide world that sometimes seem to be just a cauldron where this virus can be able to spread. Part of the safety precautions is for all of us to wear masks and to wear them properly, covering both our mouth and our nose, when we are indoors in public spaces, and even when we're outdoors if that social distancing might be a problem. Of course, we want to keep surfaces clean. We want to avoid handling objects that might have been touched by others, because you never can tell how that virus may move from one to another. And in light of that, we're advised always to wash our hands carefully and frequently, and to use hand sanitizer when washing with soap and water isn't possible. Now, the health experts tell us that when these kinds of precautions are observed, there is a very low likelihood, not a no likelihood, but a low likelihood that the virus will be able to spread from one person to another. In fact, I've read that if we all followed all of these precautions carefully for just 4 to 6 weeks, the virus might indeed just come to an end all its own. But of course, the world being what it is and our human family being what it is, that's just doesn't seem to be possible. In any case, the public health folks have told us that when these precautions can be maintained, it is possible for us with care to return to most, if not all, of our pre-pandemic activities. At the same time, even as we begin to return to work, as we begin to return to stores and even some restaurants and other kinds of public places, there's a special note always that those of us who may be in high-risk categories, and we know those are the older we get, the more high risk we're in. Many of our pre-existing health conditions can cause us to be in a higher risk category. And the special note is that those of us who may be in high risk categories need to be especially cautious, even when these precautions are observed. But in that context, Bishop McConnell a few weeks ago asked each congregation of the diocese to prepare a plan for reopening in-person worship services, which have been closed throughout the diocese all the way since last March. Each congregation then presented that plan to a special task force that he had appointed for this purpose, and for their review and suggestions and evaluations. And here at All Saints, a committee that was made up of our senior warden Darrell Walker and vestry members Sue Butler and Todd Foose prepared a plan which was submitted to the vestry first and then approved by our vestry, and then given to the diocese and to the task force and approved by them and by our bishop a few weeks ago. So with that approval, the vestry has set a date for our return to worship on Sunday, August 2nd at 10:30. And we are now beginning, and a number of folks in the All Saints congregation have begun already to be preparing for that return according to those plans, to the plan that we submitted. So I tell you, I'm very much looking forward to our first service on August 2nd. Just a reminder then that we'll all come to church wearing masks. And if we forget a mask, or if we don't happen to have one available, there will be disposable masks available. But according to our plan, we won't be able to allow anyone into our worship service who won't be wearing masks. There will also be hand sanitizer available. It's best, I think, to come into the church and use hand sanitizer. After communion, it may be appropriate to use hand sanitizer again, and then on the way out the door at the end of the service. We'll be sitting farther apart. Every other pew will be marked off, and we'll try to keep as much distance between each of our individuals or households sitting together and the other. And when we greet each other, it'll be with words and with a wave rather than with physical touch and proximity. When we do come together to worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness, even though it will be a little different from some of the things that we've known in the past, it will be very meaningful. And in the Holy Communion on Sunday to proclaim in that special and sacramental way the gospel good news that Christ has died for us, that he is risen from the dead, and that he will come again in power and great glory. Even with masks and social distancing and all the rest, that message will still come through loud and clear. Now, I know that in our congregation there will be some who, because they're in higher risk categories, may not feel that it's time yet to begin to come back to church services, and I certainly understand that. And as I begin my new role at the beginning of August as part-time vicar of All Saints, I'll be exploring more some ways to share communion and to share times of pastoral visitation with those who aren't able to be attending services on Sunday. And certainly if you'd like to hear more about that, please do give me a call or send me an email. I've also decided, at least for the foreseeable future, that I will be continuing to prepare my weekly videos. Now, I hope those would be especially meaningful and helpful for those who aren't yet able to come to church on Sunday, but also just say that I would hope that an introduction to the collect and the readings from Scripture might be helpful and meaningful as well for those who will be in church. A great way, I hope, of preparing prayerfully for our Sunday worship together. So we'll still be distributing, I'll still be distributing these videos in the weeks ahead. If things work the way they should, again, the same email that got you this video also includes the link for my message for Sunday morning, July 26th, and with an additional link for musical reflection for that day. And I will on this summer weekend just share blessings to you and to say, as we were able to do so, that I truly look forward to seeing many of you in church at 10:30 on August 2nd. God bless you.